Good morning. I am Grace Estiliore from the Policy Coordination and Monitoring Division of the Council. One of our division's functions is to establish guidelines, coordinate and manage call for proposals. The objective of my presentation is to walk you through the general guidelines of this call. This will include the evaluation process, timelines, and how we assess proposals in a nutshell. This is the organizational structure of the DOST, and PCIEERD is one of the three planning councils of the department, which serves as a sectoral planning council in industry, energy, and emerging technology sectors. Our mandate is to provide R&D direction in our priority areas, and our strategy for steering the R&D direction towards these areas is through the provision of grants for the conduct of the following: research and development, human resource and institution development, technology transfer projects, projects that will lead to development of policies and regulation in support to our priority sectors, and science communication projects. All these are pursued in collaboration with our stakeholders. We support 21 sectors, generally categorized under industry, energy, and emerging technology and special concerns. This is the PCIEERD organizational structure. PCIEERD is headed by the Executive Director and a Deputy Executive Director who are both appointed by the Philippine President through the DOST Secretary. The PCIEERD senior leaders, or what we call the PCIEERD Management Team or PMT, is composed of the Executive Director, Deputy Executive Director, heads of these 7 divisions, head of the Information Group, and a representative from our Employees Association. For the 7 divisions, 3 of these divisions, namely the ITDD, EUSTDD, and ETDD, set directions or priorities for research and development activities and programs for the 21 assigned sectors of the Council, while RITDD is in charge of development of programs for the optimal utilization, transfer, and commercialization of technologies and other research outputs. HRID is in charge of developing capability building programs for enhancing competence of our researchers and scientists, including our institutions. On the other hand, the PCMD, where I belong, and FAD are the 2 support divisions. PCMD assesses and cascades the Council's plans and monitors its implementation, making sure that the Council's mandate and priorities are aligned and accomplished. The FAD provides support services in terms of human and financial resources management, including assets and properties. PCIEERD has a governing body called the Governing Council, which serves as our policy-making body. They are also the final approving authority of programs and projects for PCIEERD GIA funding. The GC is composed of the DOST Secretary as an ex-officio chair and heads of different government departments that have a stake in the priority sectors of the Council. These are the DTI, DOE, DOTR, DPWH, DBM, and CHED. We have also representatives from the private sector who are acknowledged leaders in their profession appointed by the President. Our call is open to all qualified Filipino researchers, and all proposals will be funded either by DOST or PCIEERD as a grant. Since we are required to do the budgeting the year preceding the start of the budget process, or fiscal year +1 budgeting, the proposals received in this call will be funded for calendar year 2023. The call will open on May 3 and will close on June 3, 2021. Submission shall be through the DPMIS. We are calling for 5 major sectoral areas of the Council, namely energy and utilities, emerging technologies, special concerns such as environment, DRR, CCA, and creative industry, and science communication. Please note that this call is open only to Filipino researchers connected with the following type of organizations: public and private HEIs or RDIs, and non-profit organizations operated primarily for education, S&T, and other similar purposes, and not organized primarily for profit. These are the basic requirements of the proposal. It should be able to contribute to the advancement of science and technology in the country, aligned with the harmonized national R&D agenda and PCIEERD priority call. The implementing agency should have a counterpart funding of 15% in cash or in kind, and the line item budget should follow the allowable expense items as defined or enumerated under the DOST guidelines. Please take note that applications or proposals should be submitted online through our DPMIS not later than 5 p.m. on June 3, 2021. We encourage proponents to register even before the opening of the call, so this will not impede or delay your application process, especially if your organization or university is not yet registered in the DPMIS. It will still need approval from our IT team, and please give us an allowance of 1 day for this. Please take note that these types of proposal will be automatically disapproved. Proposals from organizations that are not qualified to submit in this call, for example, from private companies. However, private companies who have R&D needs may partner or collaborate with qualified institutions to be able to participate in this call. In fact, one of the requirements for proposal submission is a commitment from possible producer or user of the target technology or output, which usually comes from the private sector. Proposals outside the priority areas. Proposals submitted to any other call route or councils, and proposals submitted outside the DPMIS such as through email or hard copies. Since we strictly follow the 40-day evaluation period, proposals submitted after the deadline will not be considered anymore. These are the few steps that you need to follow before you can proceed with the filling out of the DOST proposal form in the DPMIS. Register and create an account in the DPMIS. Log into your DPMIS account. Select the type of proposal, which should be PCIEERD GIA Program or Project 2023 funding. Select classification, which is new proposal, and proceed with filling out the DOST form for proposals. These are the documents that should be accomplished and attached in the DPMI so you can proceed with submission. The DOST proposal form, which is the same as the DPMIS format, as well as the supplementary files. No additional attachments are permitted. The succeeding slides are introduction on the different levels and criteria for proposal evaluation. Thorough discussion of this will be done by our next speaker. This is the flow of our evaluation process. After the closing of the call, we start the day 1 of our evaluation. Proposals shall be evaluated according to a set of criteria for each level of evaluation. Applicants or proponents should directly and explicitly address these criteria as part of their proposal submission. If the proposal passed the assessment for eligibility at the division level, this will be elevated to the PCIEERD management team or PMT, and if it will be recommended on this level, it will be subjected to an evaluation by an external evaluation team, the technical panel. If this will be endorsed by the panel, it will finally go to the Governing Council for proposals for PCIEERD GIA funding. However, if the proposal is for DOST GIA funding, this will still be elevated to the DOST Execom. For the eligibility check of proposals, the Council's project manager or PM checks for completeness of the proposal and other required documents that should come with the proposal. You will not miss this since these are all part of the fields the proponent will be filling out in the DPMIS. The submission will not proceed if these are not accomplished. Some of the things that will also be checked are endorsement letter from the head of the institution where the researcher is affiliated, alignment of the proposal to the call, as well as completeness of the content of the proposal. We also check if the project leader or proponent is free from obligation from previously funded projects of the DOST and its attached agencies. All requirements of previously funded projects of the proponent, if any, should have been submitted. For the PMT level, these are the evaluation criteria with corresponding percentage weights. The focus is on the assessment on the proposal's socioeconomic merits, how the project or research results will be utilized by the prospective end users or producers, marketability of the target outputs, and environmental impact. A proposal with a score of 3.1 will be elevated to the next level of evaluation. For the technical panel, the focus of evaluation is on the technical merits of the proposal, and these are the specific criteria with corresponding percentage weights. Again, a score of 3.1 and above will allow the proposal to be endorsed to the next level. Our final evaluation levels are the GC for PCIERD GIA and DOST Execom for DOST GIA. They have 4 criteria and the percentage weights are either 30 or 20%. These criteria are somehow the summation of the eligibility, PMT, and TP criteria. Hence, these evaluation levels have already prepared the proposal towards this final level. Passing scores above 61%. A ranking of proposals will also be done if the number of proposals with passing scores exceeded the allocated number and budget for the call. This is the timeline for the call and evaluation of proposals. We have already assigned specific dates for each level of evaluation to ensure that we will not exceed the 40-day evaluation period. This is in conformance with the Ease of Doing Business Act. Finally, I'd like to reiterate the following. Call is open only to Filipino researchers connected with public and private HEIs or RDIs. Pre-register in the DPMIS Researchers Portal before the opening of the call. Call duration is on May 3 to June 3, 2021. Proposals submitted to other calls or call routes or councils will be automatically disapproved. Proposals must be submitted in the DPMIS. To increase chance of approval, proposals must ensure to address the evaluation criteria and the specific requirements of the programs. And I encourage you to pre-engage the Council's PMs during the writing of the proposals. You will be meeting our PMs during the breakout session. The call documents can be downloaded at the DOST and PCIEERD website. Thank you, and if you want to keep in touch and be updated on where we're up to, we have pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all at PCIEERD, at DOST PCIEERD, and also through our separate Facebook social media campaign, Pinoy Science. We will also be releasing FAQs for this call in these pages.